Corporal Randall here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. The notification bell so you know when I post a new video. Tell your friends about me. Share the video. Today I feel compelled to continue with the discussion on choices. Among the many choices people make every day is what they're going to affiliate themselves with, how they're going to align themselves with other groups or organizations. As everyone knows, there are millions of groups to affiliate with. Not only groups, you have teams, organizations, different ways to affiliate and for people to identify you. For me, I'm affiliated with multiple veterans organizations, as I am a veteran. I'm also affiliated with my local church group. There are groups I won't affiliate with. For instance, I don't affiliate with Black Lives Matter. Now, I don't affiliate with the group for multiple reasons. I can go over many of them in this video. One of the things that I find amusing about Black Lives Matter, outside of their desire to use fascistic tactics to push a narrative that doesn't actually line up when math is involved, statistics, things that you can look at and prove, is Black Lives Matter is essentially like a domestic terrorism organization. It's the Black version of the KKK. When you really think about it, they both want separate societies. They both have no problem with using violence to achieve a political means. Domestic terrorism is essentially terrorism used by citizens of the country to scare other citizens into doing what they want for political means. Okay, so now that we've established that we are talking about domestic terrorism, and if you don't believe me, you can look at one of my other videos where we go over the math of how much it's actually cost the country in these riots and the looting that has gone on, not to mention the personal human suffering from people actually losing their businesses to death. So why would I associate with a group like that? So Black Lives Matter would tell you that, hey, we're in support of all Black lives. There's no way you could actually believe that. It's amusing that they actually have it on their webpage that they're in support of all Black lives. Only Black lives Matter cares about Black lives that are taken at the hands of white law enforcement. Now, I have to specify white law enforcement because one of the caveats that most people don't realize is most large city law enforcement agencies are majority minority law enforcement. What that means is the majority of the police is done by people of a different race than the majority race. Among the many things that Black Lives Matter has done is successfully gotten the American public to believe that police are the enemy. Law enforcement is the problem in the Black community. Not Black math scores or reading scores, not lack of fathers in the family, not even a nuclear family, because according to Black Lives Matter, they want to, and I quote, disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family. So in their heads, everything they've done has been done for the greater good. However, whenever Black Lives Matter's narrative gets into the ethos, then all that you tend to see is lots and lots of Black people being hurt. Black people, brown people. Why is that? For a movement that started with Trayvon Martin's death, where they said Trayvon Martin was killed unjustly, which anyone who can see knows that's to be true, and that George Zimmerman was acquitted. Rest in Power, the documentary on Trayvon Martin and the trial, actually explains a lot of why it seems that George Zimmerman was acquitted. Next, they say that they decided to rise up again when Ferguson with the Michael Brown shooting. Well, they conveniently leave out the part that Michael Brown was the aggressor. Michael Brown assaulted the police officer. Michael Brown discharged the police officer's weapon in the car. Michael Brown charged the police officer after he had just assaulted them and the cop got out of the car. It was never a situation where there was hands up, don't shoot. That's a fallacy that the media will continue to push. Don't ask me why, but we all know why. It's the same reason that you never hear about white people getting killed by law enforcement. The media has a desire to keep the racial fires stoked in America. Prior to Barack Obama's election, the country was seen as being post-racial. Barack Obama, when he first got elected, was the person that everyone said, hey, this is proof that America is the land of opportunity, where you can grow up and become whatever you want. His second election, however, things switched a little bit. An unpopular president and his backers in the media decided that anyone who disagreed with him on policy prescriptions was by definition racist. This is how you get Joe Biden to come out and say that Mitt Romney was going to put you all back in chains. I mean, let's think of it this way. Every 4 years, a Republican runs against a Democrat for the presidency. And every 4 years, Republicans are called racist, bigots, sexists, homophobes. How is it that every Republican is a racist, bigoted, sexist, homophobe if almost half the country is registered Republican or leans Republican? No one really believes that almost half the country are racist, bigots, sexist, homophobes. I mean, if that was the case, then how do you go to work every day? Because that means that 50% of all the people you're talking to and interacting with would, by definition, be someone who is a deplorable. Now, do you really believe that? No. But is the media willing to play on your emotion to push that narrative and find any reason to amp you up emotionally to continue to push that nerve? The media will never allow for the wounds of slavery to go away. They have too much profit motive involved. Everyone is suddenly a racist, and you get things like the Tea Party being called a domestic terrorism organization. The Tea Party, who would hold rallies and clean up after themselves, as opposed to BLM, which holds protests that devolve into rioting and looting, and everyone else has to clean up after them. The media like to use terms like mostly peaceful protests, or the study that came out last week that said 93% of the BLM rallies have been peaceful. Well, little stat note, according to the FBI, the KKK in its heyday, 95% of their rallies were peaceful. There wasn't a black person lynched or a dog sicked on anyone. The Tea Party, which didn't need law enforcement help, versus Black Lives Matter, which is actively filling water bottles with concrete and throwing it at law enforcement. But the Tea Party, according to the media, was domestic terrorism. Come on. Y'all can't even believe this. I'm at the point now where I'm sure that most of the things that I'm seeing are just gaslighting. Because I don't think that most of the people that are hearing this actually believe it. It's not possible. And when you really sit there and look at the numbers, you realize that, hey, far more unarmed white people are shot by law enforcement and killed by law enforcement than unarmed black people. And the main reason that black people have a disproportionate amount of interactions with law enforcement is because they tend to have a disproportionate amount of crimes committed. Blacks in this country account for less than 15% of the population, but almost 50% of the homicides. When you think of it from a just logical math standpoint, yes, there are going to be more police in black areas because there's more crime in black areas. Now, there's millions of reasons why one would suggest there's more crime in black areas, but the police would not be one of them. If you like, put in the comments if you'd like to hear some of the reasons why there's more crime in the black areas, or at least my belief was why there's more crime in black areas. I don't support Black Lives Matter, and the main reason is semantic overload. Semantic overload just basically means that the word or phrase has multiple meanings, and when someone uses it, they can use it with any of the meanings. So when you say, hey, I disagree with that, they go, oh, I didn't mean that meaning, I meant this meaning. No. Unfortunately, once your term or your idea has been hijacked, you have limited time to reconsider how to get it back. Or you get to move on with what the hijackers agreed is the meaning. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell. Corporal Randall, out.